YouTube family. This is Grammie Nae Nae back with another delicious recipe for you. Tonight is a request night. My husband would like to have some livers. Chicken livers is what he prefers, but in the freezer I had some pork livers. So that's what I'm going to be frying up for you tonight. And if you look over here, you'll see that I have the pork livers already in a bowl. I'm not really crazy about liver. It's not something that I eat, but I fry it up just like I do anything else. And so I've got all of my ingredients here, and we are going to take care of that. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Labor Day weekend. I have had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. I have been at the playground all day long, excuse my appearance, playing with my little grandbabies. Me and my husband and my 13-year-old daughter took our 4-year-old and 3-year-old granddaughter and grandson out. And it was a wonderful day, so I hope you guys are enjoying family and friends. So what we're going to do now is, I've already got these put into a bowl, so we're going to make an assembly line, and we've got this skillet over here getting hot. I've added oil to it. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to bust open 2 eggs, crack 2 eggs, not bust. Crack 2 eggs. I'm trying to be so proper. You know, you got to be proper. You got to say the proper words. Us Southerners, we just come up with our own terminology about things. And like I said, I've heard some Southerners talking about, what in the world are they saying? But I'm Southern too, so. And I'm going to add some milk to this. And we're just going to really get that going. Okay, now I'm not going to season the egg. I'm going to season the flour. But I got a little bit of stuff to do to this flour. Let's put my fork there. I may need to use that fork later on. I got a little, this is probably about a cup of flour that's in here. Sometimes you might need to add a little bit more, but usually a cup would do it. I'm going to add some cornstarch in there. Cornstarch just helps everything to crispen up. And this is a little bit of my seasoning mix. It has some salt, some seasoning salt, some black pepper, and some garlic powder in there. We're going to put that in there. And I'm going to take my things here. We're just going to kind of mix that around. And when I'm frying, I make a mess. Let me tell you. And it ain't nothing wrong with making a mess. When you're making a mess, you're doing a good job and you're having a good time. That's the way I look at it. And this is getting hot. So we're going to go back over here. And I'm going to just use this. I'm going to lay a couple of pieces of this. Enough for 1 skillet. In here. We'll get that all in here. And liver's really good for you. It's just not something that I really like myself. But you know what? I aim to please. I aim to please my family, and if they want some livers, then that's what they're going to get. My 13-year-old ain't touching this with a 10-foot pole. But my husband sure does love it, so we're going to kind of batter that. And I'm going to turn this heat up a little bit because you want to make sure that when you put it in there, you get a sizzle. That is what's going to give you that good crispy outside. When you're doing chicken, when you're doing anything. And you also have to make sure that your heat's high enough to accommodate when you add the meat, because it actually drops your temperature down. Now, I don't measure, I don't put a temperature gauge in there or anything like that. You can. When I'm cooking chicken, I do everything by eye. And when I'm cooking beef livers or anything like that, so we're going to go in there. You hear that sizzle? Same as when I was doing those tuna patties the other day. We got a good sizzle going on there. And it's just an assembly line now. You're just taking that liver and you're getting it coated with that egg and milk wash. And then you're just coating it in here really good. And like I said, I put a little cornstarch in it. Cornstarch is going to help that to really crispen up and get a little bit more of a crunch on the outside. My husband sure does like that. And he's a little bit spoiled. But there ain't nothing wrong with that. It's okay to spoil the ones you love. And he don't want anything else tonight but this and some special sauce from the refrigerator, and that's what he's going to have. He's just going to have a plate of pork livers. The man will eat pork, beef, deer. He don't care. But tonight, this is what I had on hand. Let's get it in there. I probably could get just about every one that's in here. And we're just going to let you watch me cook 1 skillet full. You don't have to watch me cook all of them. Really get that. I didn't shake that one off, so let's just take that out and put, yeah. get a good shot of that frying up, Megan. That's looking pretty. So we're going to put this one in there. And it's about, I'd say about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. I'm on a medium heat right now. I'm cooking on a glass top stove. I got a dream to get a gas stove. I can't do canning on a glass top stove. The friction's just too much for them. So I'm looking forward to one day maybe having a, I've already got the gas on behind there, so it's definitely something that's doable. That lost a little bit of its flour. You can always take and get you a little bit more flour in there. So we're going to get that right there. And I believe I'm going to move this one over. And I'll have enough room to slide this one in there. Okay, and I'm going to get some clean pinchers. I call them pinchers. I don't know what these are called. They're called tongs. I know what they're called. But I call them pinchers because you can pinch people that are filming. You can pinch people that are talking back. You can get people with these. That's a good thing. You see, these are almost there. So they just, I'm going to give them just a little bit longer. And it doesn't take long at all to cook liver. Liver's something that cooks up really quick. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to flip these. And like I said, we're just going to make one skillet full right now. You don't have to watch me cook all of them. Oh, do you see that? And I always like to take the back of that. You can hear things crisping. Let's go ahead and flip this. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. That's what we're looking for. Good and crispy. Get that flipped over there. And I got a good seasoned cast iron skillet. And when you got a good seasoned cast iron skillet, you ain't got to worry about anything sticking to it or anything like that. If you let it get unseasoned, you ain't going to be able to fry nothing up in it. And that's the truth. And I'm going to tell you something. What would be really good, and my husband doesn't like this, but my dad does, my little dad. He likes this turned into gravy with some onion with it afterwards, and he likes to eat the onion and gravy in a fried liver. So that's something else you can do. I don't know if you guys know how to make gravy, but we'll put that on a list to show you how to do that down the road. So we're going to let these kind of cook. I may flip them over again to let them get a little bit more crisp. I got flour on me. Hey, we ain't having fun if we ain't got a mess. That's what Granny used to say. You got to make a mess. You get in that kitchen and you make a mess and tear some things up. Don't that look delicious? Look at that just sizzling in that skillet. And that's how you do it. Now we're really getting some heat to it. I should have let it get just a little bit warm before I started. But I think it's doing a good job. Like I said, you can hear that crisp. You can take a fork and you can hit the back of it. That's what I like to do. That's why I know that that's getting deliciously good. And you can see this one's got a little blood coming out of it, so this will have to cook a little bit more. Just take that out. That's just where some stuff puffed up on it out there. Maybe a little egg that didn't get coated. Came right off. That's okay. See, nobody's perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to be delicious. Delicious is what you got to get. People are not going to care if your stuff's ugly. It's going to taste good. Because I've ate some ugly stuff, but it sure was delicious. Sure was delicious. So, we'll let these cook. I always use my clock up here. We'll let it cook to about 6:38, a couple more minutes on that side. Then we're going to flip it over. Let it go a couple more minutes on the other side. Then we're going to pull these up. So, while that's cooking, my husband actually found some sauce this week. We went to like a grocery consolidation thing, where they sell things that maybe didn't sell in a store or something like that. And he found this Heinz mayo cube. And I think it's a barbecue sauce with mayonnaise. And so we're going to get him a little thing of this. And he wanted to try it with this. So we're going to put him a little sauce in there. That's probably, he's not going to need a whole lot more than that. It's not the best looking thing in there, but just kind of get that moved around a little bit. There we go. Alrighty, and we're about ready to turn our livers back over. And like I said, you're not going to have to watch me fry up the whole amount. We're just going to get a quick little lesson here, and look at that. We're turning them over. They might have got a little bit too burnt on this side. Sometimes your heat is hard to set, and these are such a thin meat, you have to be really careful. But he's going to eat them up, let me tell you. So, just a little bit more on that side, because you did see that there was some blood coming through there. But these things are going to be delicious and crispy. We want to make sure we get them nice and done. So now, while we're waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and add some more of my liver into my egg wash. You don't have to worry about flour getting on them. They're all going the same place in the same way. But you do want, I made a mistake there, because you do want to make sure you drip off that egg yolk and milk. You don't want to take it over, because that's what will happen. You get a little scrambled egg going on. I'm going to go ahead and add these all in here. Let them you can put a little bit, I put regular milk because that's what I had. You can add a little buttermilk to that and add a little bit more flavor. But let's just get that in there. Get that all mixed up. I'm just going to put this over in the sink and put some water in it because it's got blood in it. We're ready to take these up. I believe these are done. So I'm going to get some clean tongs because I don't want to cross-contaminate anything, and I have used these tongs. So we're going to pull up these pork livers and we're going to set them over here. And see how crispy and delicious they are. And I don't mind a little bit of extra on there. This is going to need a little bit more oil for the next batch. I want to show you when you're setting up for your next batch. And you're going to want to let that heat come back up again. So we're going to, if you was to make gravy, you'd add flour to that, and then you would just stir it around until the flour taste cooked out of it, and then you'd add your milk or water, whatever kind of flour you want to cook there. So let's add a little bit more oil. We're just going to add a little bit more oil, and we're going to let that heat come up. And while that heat's coming up, I'm going to put these tongs over here because I don't want to cross-contaminate and cause any kind of issues with salmonella or E. coli. You have to be really clean, I tell you. You got to be careful. So we're going to add some, and like I said, make sure you shake that off. I did that one without shaking it off. I get in a big hurry, and sometimes you got to slow down. And like I said, we're not going to let you watch me fry every bit of these because it's going to take a little time. So we're going to just kind of mix those around in there, really get them coated. Get some of that, get that cornstarch, that good seasoning and that good flour all on there. Get them in there, flip over. And then once this heat comes back up, which I think we're just about right there, we don't want the heat too high. You cook things too high, then you start getting a little bit of burn. So we'll go back in, and I can see that it's ready. So we'll start laying this batch in there. I dropped one. Sometimes they're so little, these livers. So let's get that added on there. Sometimes I make a mess. Like I said earlier, if you ain't making a mess, you ain't having a good time. Just kind of scooch those around. I got one more over here I need to get. I'll tell you one thing, livers will go a long way to feed a family. They sure will. Okay. Well, we're going to take that and we're going to continue to cook. And we're going to serve these up. I think I showed you how to do them. And if you look, they are really good. I'm going to cut one in half. Not touch the skillet, but they are good. Let me get a... cut one open. And the liver almost is like chicken fried steak. It almost has that consistency. But you'll see we're cooked all the way through. And we have a good flaky crust. And that will be served up to him, and he is going to love that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe from Grammie Nae Nae. Until next time, you guys have a wonderful day.